Hi, welcome to Sunday Stretchies. I am your host, Kiera. Remember, on Sundays, we stretch to get our bodies and our minds ready for the upcoming week. We've got a mix of stretches today. They're going to be on the mat and standing. So we've got a 20-minute timer, and let's begin. Right now, we're going to start off in our crisscross position. We're just going to reach from one side to the other. So bring that arm up and over. You'll feel this nicely up in your lats. Switch sides. Very nice. Let's bring the soles of our feet together into a butterfly position here. And I'm just going to very gently use my elbows to push my knees down. Honestly, I don't really need that very much because even just pushing my chest forward a little bit gets me a nice stretch. My hips and my inner thighs, those adductors. As usual, I've got a little bit of movement here. I'm bouncing very, very gently. Take one foot in front of the other and just lean forward over our mat. You feel the tops of your feet or your ankles kind of sticking into the floor. If that's uncomfortable at all, just adjust your body a little bit and make sure that it feels comfortable for you. With Sunday Stretchies, we want these to be really, really comfy. These to feel nice, not have too much discomfort at all. All right, let's switch feet. And same thing. Some minor adjustments here just to make this a little more comfortable on my ankles. Kind of sensitive to pressure points like that. That happens when I take classes. If I have to do a portion that's on all fours, if I don't have a squishy pad to go under my knees, I can feel that pressure point quite a bit. It's really uncomfortable for me. So I like to adjust, do some modifications however I can. All right, let's go up into all fours on our mat. So find this tabletop position here. We want our hands to be directly underneath our shoulders and knees directly underneath our hips. So hopefully you can kind of feel that position a little bit. You can wiggle side to side, wag your tail is what I referred to this, or rather what I have heard this referred to before. Wiggle side to side, use your obliques to squeeze your upper and lower body together. Now I'm going to position one of my hands to a little more of a central spot on my mat here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reach up, twist, and then I'm going to tuck my arm underneath. This is known as threading the needle. So that arm is going to go underneath your opposite arm. And your shoulder is going to come down onto the mat if you can get it there. I think I'd have to put my head on the mat too. But if you can hold that position, that's nice. It gives you a nice stretch in your shoulder. Oh, is that Mr. Bruiser? Just saw a shadow. Doing this kind of opening and closing helps a lot with spinal mobility. I personally am very, very stiff in my shoulders and in my chest. I have a more kind of rounded forward position, which makes sense because I worked at a job at a desk where I typed all day for a long time. So as a result, my shoulders naturally kind of round forward a little bit. So opening up my chest and opening up my pecs is difficult for me. And twisting, having that spinal mobility, twisting behind me is pretty difficult. Most of us have one side that's more flexible than the other. Same with dominance or strength, right? We tend to have that one side that's a little stronger in something than the other. For me, I've got more spinal mobility towards the right, so it's easier for me to twist to my right side than it is to my left. I'm going to switch sides on the mat here so you can see me do this same exercise, but you do not need to switch sides for this. So same thing, I'm going to put one hand a little more centered on the mat, make sure I've got my knees under my hips, nice central and neutral spine. I'm going to twist open. Oh gosh, yeah, I can just feel how stiff that is when I do that exercise. And I thread the needle there. It's okay for those hips to come back. You don't need this to be super stacked over the top. And if you want, you can rest your head down onto your mat. You might need to adjust your supporting hand a little bit, move it out. Because what we don't want is to create too much tension on our neck from this. Alright, let's maybe do 2 more. Open up. My hips open up when I do this too. If you prefer to have your toes tucked underneath to give you more stability, that is totally okay. And this one, I actually prefer my toes to be down flat. Okay, we'll come on up. Back up into a child's pose just for a moment. You can rest your forehead on your mat if you'd like. Take a breath. Relax. If you'd like, you can bring your hands together. Bring your palms so they're touching and bend your elbows. So you've got prayer hands, and you can bend your elbows so your hands come up behind your head. I like this stretch because it stretches my triceps. I think that feels really, really nice. All right, reach those hands long again. Reach, reach, reach. And we'll come up. Very nice. Go ahead and lie on our backs. Whatever side you would like to lie down on is just fine. I'm going to flip around so you can see me a little bit easier. So we're going to lie down on our back. Ooh. And we're going to take those arms up overhead. Nice big stretch here. Oh, it makes me want to yawn. Like a nice morning stretch, right? When we first wake up in the morning and we're stirring and we're getting ready to get out of bed. Those nice big stretches. Your legs shake. That always feels good. I love that. Okay, we're going to take one knee to our chest and just pull up gently. Do some circles with the ankle. Do 3 or 4 one direction. 3 or 4 other direction. Let's take that knee up to the armpit, so it's going to open the hip a little bit. Don't have to pull super tight. You might not even want to use your arm for this if you don't want to. I like to because I feel like my legs just kind of floating out there if I don't use my hand to help me a little bit. You can hold your hand on the outside and pull your knee, or you can reach on the inside and pull your knee. Both are great. It's just whatever's more comfortable for you. Your foot can be pointed, your foot can be flexed, and just be relaxed. Now let's go ahead and take that knee across the center body, and we're actually going to cross it to the opposite side. Ooh, feeling the stretch in the glute. I'm going to go ahead and extend my opposite arm. So the same knee that is across my body, that arm, that matching arm, I'm extending that out straight on the floor. If you like, you can also go into a goalpost position where you bring your arm into a 90-degree angle. This is going to get you a really, really strong stretch in your pec and through the armpit. We feel this one in a lot of different areas, which is nice. Now remember to be mindful of good pain versus bad pain. If this stretch feels like a little too much, maybe you bring that knee up a little bit. You have a little bit more of a central spine. You don't have as much of a twist. Take some breaths here. Something I don't think I've mentioned before is that I am not a yoga instructor. I have taken some yoga, not a significant amount, so there's names of poses that I'm going to get wrong. There's names of poses that I don't know. Go ahead and switch those legs now and pull that other knee to our chest, roll that ankle. But just a heads up that I'm really just here to provide some general stretching. I'm going to say the word guidance, but I don't want you to take that as me being an expert in this space, right? These are just stretches that feel good for me personally. And as somebody who does dance or somebody who does Pilates, kind of those low impact workouts, take that knee up to that armpit. I guess dance is more of a high impact. or can be high impact. But for those folks who are doing Pilates, they're doing bar, things like that, those are low impact formats of classes. And it just feels so good to get a nice stretch. Even if you do high impact exercises, it feels good to get limbered up. All right, let's take that knee. We're gonna take the opposite hand from the bent knee. We're gonna grab it, hold it across our body. Oops, I felt and heard my back pop on that one. So the same knee that's bent, the arm that matches that knee is gonna go straight out to the side. Ooh, we're feeling that stretch in the glute. You wanna take your arm up into a 90-degree angle. Ooh. Feel that stretch in that pec and that armpit. Feeling this a little in my abdominals as well with the twist. Wow. All right, so let's go ahead and grab both our knees to our chest. And we'll kind of rock side to side a little bit. Very, very gently. You can leave your head on the ground for this if you like. I prefer to pick my head up. That feels a little bit better for my back. All right, and let's go all the way up. We're gonna flip over onto our bellies. We're doing a lot of flip-flopping today, I think. Okay. So we've got our hands just under our shoulders here. What we're gonna do is take one foot and bend that knee, and we're gonna push, and we're gonna twist the opposite direction. So for me, it's my right knee and my right hand. My right knee is what's bent, and I pushed up with my right hand to move my whole body up and to twist my back a little bit. If you want to flip your other hand so it's more comfortable, you can. It's kind of being squished right now under my chest. Now I've got my toe pointed behind me. You'll see this when I do the opposite side. This is a nice one for the quads. And again, just adding some more movement into that spine. It feels really nice. Come back onto our belly, and we'll do the opposite side. Pushing with the left hand. We've bent that left knee. Feeling a good stretch in the abdominal muscles as well. You can lay your head down on your mat if you like. That's more comfortable. A few breaths. Okay, come flat to our bellies. Let's go ahead and do a quad stretch. So I'm going to have one arm supporting me here, so I'm not just face down on the mat. And I'm going to grab one of my feet and bend my leg. I'm going to pull ever so gently, and I'll feel that nice quad stretch. Let's go ahead and switch. Well, it might be easier for you to reach one foot than the other. It is for me. I'm always able to reach my right foot a little bit easier than my left foot when I do a quad stretch like this. So if you bend your elbow of the hand that is holding, or rather, if you bend your elbow to the arm that is holding your bent leg, you get an even deeper stretch. All right, let's go ahead and take a downward. You know what, before we do that, should we do a baby cobra? This is what I was talking about in reference to me not being a yoga instructor. I've heard this pose has been called the cobra, the baby cobra, etc. If you want to push up even higher, you're welcome to do that. Straighten those elbows. Remember, we're breathing. We're pulling those shoulders down away from our ears. And let's come back down. We don't want to push too hard in that one. That can be painful for our spine. So if you just want to push up onto your elbows, that's totally okay. You can still get a really good stretch here. This is nice for the abdominal muscles. I can feel this through the abdominals here. Oh, I'm tired today. I took a mat Pilates class this morning, and it was very, very warm in the room that we were in. And frankly, it was a really challenging class for me, and I left kind of defeated. And then I fell up the stairs on my way out of that studio. Let's go ahead and reach those arms straight forward. Take a nice long stretch here. And let's go ahead and push up into a child's pose just for a moment. Now let's tuck our toes underneath us and go into a downward facing dog. Pedal the feet so we can feel a little bit of stretch behind the knees. It always pulls my sticky socks off. Oh, nice. All right, let's walk those feet up to the hands and just take a forward fold here. Ooh, backs of my knees are tight today. So I'm bending one knee at a time, because if I did both fully straightened, I think that would be a little too much for what my body could handle. Take an inhale up. Exhale down. Do a quick time check while we're at it. You hold that pose. Got about 4.5 minutes left. Oh, excuse me, about 4 minutes left. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, relax. Let's take those feet a little wider. I'm going to face you now. Let's bring these feet just outside of our shoulders, and let's just hang loose. Haha, surfer joke. So we're bent over at the hips. We're letting our head fall relaxed. Our arms are relaxed. We've got a gentle bend in the knees. And I'm just swaying side to side a little bit. Go ahead and take those feet, turn them out. Let's turn those feet out. I've got my hands down on the mat, but now I'm going to go ahead and climb and pull myself up one vertebrae at a time. Very slow and controlled. And let's go ahead and stretch those inner thighs. This is a classic. I think I've done this in every Sunday Stretchies video I've made so far. It's one of my favorites. It feels really good. As usual, I've got some movement in this, so just shifting side to side. Alright, and let's stand up tall again. We're going to straighten those legs, but we are still bent over. Alright, come all the way up. Oh, I growled a little bit there. We're going to go ahead and take a lunge to one side here. So pop into your lunge, whatever side feels comfortable. So this is a higher lunge, so I don't have my back knee on the ground. Probably will in a moment, but for now I'm starting upward. If you want to add a level of challenge to yourself, you are welcome to bring your arm up off the ground. I'm going to keep mine down. And next what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to sit down on the ground and I'm going to twist. So what this looks like from the front is this. So we've got one leg over the top of the one that's seated, kind of a little pretzel twisty. And then you're going to take your opposite arm from the one that's on top. So for me, this is my right leg. So I'm taking my left arm and I'm actually going to twist. With this stretch, we do want to remain nice and tall. So we're not kind of slumped over like this. We're nice and tall here. I've got my other hand back behind me, creating some support. So I'm a little bit of a tripod here. It's keeping me stable. Nice. All right, now to get out of this, I'm going to twist opposite direction of my bottom knee. So come up and we completely unwind. So now my bottom's facing you. I'm going to flip around because that's not quite the content we're making. So now we're back front and we're going to come up and we're going to switch sides. We're going to do our lunge. Whoa, struggling with my balance today. So we've got our lunge here. Only about 30 seconds left of our Sunday Stretchies. Good job, you guys. You're doing great. And then we'll twist backwards. And again, I'll flip around so we're facing each other. Or rather, if you're still facing me. Okay, and then we're Twisting. Bring our timer close to us. Sitting nice and tall. All right, there's our 20 minutes. Go ahead and end seated, and we'll take a couple deep breaths here. Arms up overhead. Breathe out. One more, just for good measure. All right, that was Sunday Stretchies. Great job. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time.